Gods and Demigods. North American Indigenous worldview. Navajo, Diné. In the Navajo, Diné tradition, gods is not a word capacious enough for what is taking place. These are not merely superior beings stationed beyond, but presences that order the world, rhythms, rules, thresholds, forces that become stories so they may be remembered, sung, and practiced. In this sense, the Diné pantheon functions as a moral library and a communal technology. It explains how life is sustained, how harm is repaired, and how one learns to walk through a universe where the visible and the invisible continually touch. At the heart of this symbolic architecture pulse figures such as Changing Woman, the twin heroes, Monster Slayer and Born for Water, and Black God, not characters in a merely literary sense, but nodes of meaning. Each opens a different doorway onto the same question. How does a community become a community, and how does it keep from coming apart when fear, violence, or chaos closes in? Changing Woman, Time Made Flesh. Changing Woman is, above all, a way of thinking time. Her name, the woman who changes, does not describe a whim, but a principle, life as cycle, identity as renewal, the world as a season that returns. In some tellings, she embodies the turning of the seasons and the arc of human growth, birth, maturity, aging, beginning again. Culturally, her centrality reveals something decisive. Continuity is not guaranteed by force, but by the capacity for regeneration. A society remains alive not because it repeats itself, but because it knows how to transform without losing its axis. For this reason, Changing Woman is linked to ceremonies that bless home, prosperity, bonds of kinship, and life's passages. Most notably the female puberty rite, Canalda, where the body does not become a problem, but a compass, and change is celebrated, ordered, and accompanied. She also teaches something about authority. What is foundational does not arise from domination, but from symbolic fecundity. Changing Woman does not rule like a god, she sustains like earth. In several versions, she is a creative spirit associated with the people's origins and the formation of clans, as though belonging, that which makes an us, depended upon a maternal gesture that does not crush, but gathers. There is, moreover, a subtle idea. Creation is not a single event sealed in the past, it is a process that can be reawakened. Each time a community enters crisis, the story of Changing Woman offers a way to begin again without denying itself, because to change is not to betray the origin, but to obey it. The Twin Heroes, an ethic of facing the monster. When Monster Slayer and Born for Water appear, the myth shifts into tension, asking, if the world must be upheld, what do we do with what threatens it? The twins embody a narrative and practical answer. Evil is not fought with fury alone, but with purpose, guidance, and measure. They are heroes who undertake the task of diminishing the power of monsters, those forces that devour collective life, yet they do not act as isolated individuals. They belong to a web of aid, trials, teachings, and limits. Monster Slayer, the one who slays monsters, expresses the active dimension, the decision to protect the people when danger becomes intolerable. Born for Water, Child of Water, introduces an indispensable counterpart, what cools and steadies, what tempers and balances. In some interpretations, the two are complementary poles, light and darkness, dryness and moisture, not enemies. A society endures, then, not by eliminating one half of itself, but by learning to coordinate it. In symbolic terms, monsters are not merely beasts. They can be read as metaphors for the disorder that breaks convivencia, the fabric of living together: hunger, illness, violence, abuse, fear. Naming them as monsters allows something profoundly human, the externalizing of chaos so it can be addressed. When suffering has no shape, it paralyzes. When it has shape, it can be faced, debated, ritualized, healed. The myth becomes a pedagogy of adversity. It does not promise a world without threats, it promises tools for not surrendering to them. The twins' genealogy adds another layer. In widely told accounts, they are the children of Changing Woman, and the sun's solar fatherhood is not merely a poetic flourish, it binds heroic mission to cosmic responsibility. They do not fight for personal glory, they fight because the world's order, light, season, path, demands that human life not be ground down by nameless forces. Yet the myth insists on something more: heroes are not born complete. They require guidance. This is why Spider-Woman and Spider-Grandmother so often appear as figures of wisdom along the journey. The point matters because it dismantles the modern ideal of the solitary savior. Here, courage without orientation is clumsiness. Action without counsel is danger for everyone. The community produces heroes, and at the same time, it contains them. Black God, fire, stars, and the ordering of night. If Changing Woman teaches the cycle, and the twins teach an ethical struggle against chaos, Black God teaches the taming of night. As a deity of fire, and as creator of the stars and nocturnal light, he turns the sky into language. Fire here is not merely heat. It is technique, hearth, gathering, cooking, conversation, continuity. Where there is fire there is a center, and where there is a center, the wilderness loses some of its dominion. For this reason, Black God does not represent a spiritual luxury. He represents a material and symbolic condition of social life. It is no accident that he is associated with the invention of fire as tool, or with stories in which starlight becomes part of a shared order. The stars, then, are memories set high. In many cultures, looking at the sky is not pastime but orientation. The firmament orders journeys, seasons, celebrations, labors. To look into the night sky is, symbolically, to create a map, a system of reference that keeps a community from losing itself, whether in the physical desert or the inner one. And there is a beautiful detail: night without stars can be pure fear, with stars it becomes story. The myth transforms darkness into habitable space, teaching that the world should not be lit only by the sun, symbol of reason, daylight, the evident, but also by a nocturnal order, the intuitive, the ritual, the mysterious, which does not destroy, but accompanies.